Beatrix. Hysteria. Food shortage. Spore come. Food is under attack. Do you want to know more?
Your notes are the best notes.
You sound like a. You sound like a.
No, that was my joke.
Starship Troopers.
That was my joke to myself. These are the headlines. Food shortage. Spore come. Food is under attack. Do you want to know more?
Funny.
Oh,
I'm
by
just
the
going to
way,
edit that. I started recording, so I'm just going to edit that so that the thing starts with you screaming "spore cum."
Spore come. Spore come. Spore come.
All right.
Yeah.
Anywho,
What are we doing?
we are prepared for what may very well be the final session of SCUP. Even if it's not the final session, I expect you to play like it is.
Mood lighting.
Who wants to start us off with recaps?
I have
How about you, Sporcum?
always ready. Let's see. Torin. I can't read my rating. Let's see. Colonel U. I wrote down Colonel U.
He's the General Angus's
I
replacement.
understand, but I don't know what that means. Star of the North. Retreated to their keep.
Yep.
I sent for Gozar. I don't think I've talked to him yet. Did I talk to him?
Pretty sure you did.
What did we talk about?
Actually, I don't remember, because I remember I was sent away, or not sent away, but did I make it back to the kingdom by then?
Yeah, so what we're going to do is the session's going to start off in media res with your wedding to Jane occurring.
I got that, but what I'm saying is I don't remember actually coming back to the kingdom.
You did.
Did I come
Yeah,
back
you
to
did.
the
Yeah, you
Alright.
returned, and I'm curious, and you stipulated you imitated Beatrix
Oh wait, I might have.
upon your return.
Oh, no,
so
no,
I'm
no.
curious to see what you do with that.
No, I remember now. So, all right. So I sent for Gozar, and then in the meantime, while waiting for him, I sent Colonel Yu to see how the harvest is, and then go to see Star of the North. I sent Gozar to the food stores.
hold on. No, go ahead.
Oh. Yeah, we got you. Council meeting. So
Because he.
remember I sent him
Colonel
the
U works for me now, though.
negative.
Colonel U.
Colonel Yu is for me, not you.
Okay. Because I thought that you said that he was relieved and that he answers to me, because that you turned your army over.
To you?
Yeah, the star.
No, not you. You.
Right. Why
Right.
you, not why you?
Right.
This is hilarious. Thank you.
That's great.
Hey,
Hey, Albert!
so Gozar, I sent him to check out the food stores. That's what I want to talk to him about. So he went and did that thing. And then, as far as the council meeting went, no Gozar. Just standing around, no decisions been made. Head of the Dryad is brought in. People think it's fake. I help shop it, make Felix in charge of my army. And that's where we left off.
Okay. It's good because I did not remember that fact.
Oh, there you go.
That's like what I normally think.
So, Beatrix used one of her notches to infect the populace with, or some segment of the populace, with spores, and they took the opportunity to essentially infest themselves into the food supply of the city, and infected it with they basically combusted themselves to poison as much of the food supply as they could.
'Twas befouled.
Was befouled.
Alright, and there's lava flows that's heading towards the city.
So there's lava flows heading toward the city. We do have tunneling
From the north,
levers.
and the wall is being undermined from the south.
Yes.
So, things looking a little rough there.
No, I think things look great.
It's all a matter of perspective. Alright,
Make sure to get the spore cum one.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
Or I don't know. You made it, so.
Spore cum? Spore cum?
Is it
Spore cum?
more
Spore
bloody?
cum?
Actually, Matt brought them.
So go ahead, Matt.
I went to go check out said grain silos. Failed a couple rolls. Got knocked out. Got brought to seemed to be some sort of mountainous area in a cave where seemed to be only one way out. I decided to impersonate
Beatrix.
Beatrix. Somewhat successfully. Enough where I could walk out and escape without drawing too much attention, but not enough where I could actually find anything out. And then I made my way back towards the town, and I am still Beatrix at the moment.
You were, and then you did something, and now we are where we are.
I don't remember the last thing I did.
No. What I mean to say
Oh.
is that's where we left it.
Yeah.
Is you returning to
the
town as
preference.
Beatrix?
Yeah.
But we're not going to explore that next.
Okay.
We're going to jump to the royal wedding. Think about what you did while Beatrix, and when what you did while Beatrix becomes relevant, let us know. So you can also change your mind about what that was.
I may have to change my mind about that now. Okay.
Time out.
Yeah.
Take one. Cheers.
I gotta try
Cheers
the
to
Miami Vice.
Happy RPG night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's enough of it.
To the victor.
The spoils.
Cheerio.
Cheers.
Conclusion of the downfall of Fallcrest. Thank
To
you.
the downfall of Fallcrest.
It means yeah. The thoughts there. Yeah.
I love that pineapple sit-down cake. That's my favorite one.
It's tasty.
What'd you have, the Miami Vice?
Yep.
That
Interesting.
was yeah, it wasn't bad.
It tastes neon for some reason. Not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
We'll find out later.
Yeah.
All right, so fast forwarding.
So what happened?
Felix.
Yeah. I think we hit the high spots. Last session, Felix checked out the grain stores.
And you basically, at this point, the Star has sort of been given control over the town militia as well.
And so he had Felix had restored patrols and things like that throughout the town. So we were looking around, and we had increased presence in the town. We stopped the ransacking of Gozar's family's stuff. Given command of the Fallcrest troops.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the damage to the grain stores is done, but you've at least chased off the people who are under that strange influence.
Yeah, and there was a huge shortage, and there were, there's like not a lot of food left.
Yes. Or there was not a lot of food left, and now we're jumping forward in time. So.
Gotcha. Yeah. You need to let us know. Yeah.
So another thing was you had sort of a weird connection with Beatrix where she was communicating with you and whispering some ideas in your ear. So we'll just wanted to remind people of that in case that happens again.
Yeah. Thanks. That's good.
One clarification on Gozar too.
Yeah.
Because I had slept with Beatrix, I actually have automatic 100% like her, so there's no.
Yep.
But it was
Yeah.
like her when she was still, before the corruption.
Yeah,
hit her.
before the
So,
Yes.
you actually
So
look
she's going to look like
uncorrupt-
normal
Yeah.
Beatrix, which probably works out in your
It
favor.
does, yeah.
Just FYI, guys, I don't know if you heard. These are actually this is actually my hearing aid.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it's it lets me point my hearing so I can actually pick up like signals better than like otherwise like when multiple people are talking it just sounds like just a general noise and I have a lot of
When did you
Yeah,
find
I have
that?
that same
About a month
fucking
ago.
thing.
Yeah, it's called central audio processing disorder.
Because we were talking about when the first couple times we were talking about like the R and things like that, and we were, like hearing and perceiving things. Are you going? No, we can talk later. I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really helpful. Really helpful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Yeah.
what
All right.
So I'm not just ignoring you guys.
You can survive the family now.
I can. Well,
Well.
the healing part, the
Yeah.
cacophony part.
All right. So,
You may soon learn to
Baby
regret
steps.
that.
Well, I can turn it off.
Now,
too.
even better.
Bing, 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 bing.
excuse me. Okay. So, the setup here is that we're going to. The camera is going to open on the royal wedding. But before I get into that, there's been some time that's passed. An indeterminate amount of time, just because I like it when time's squishy. So you've all had time to set things in motion, to prepare your big move. And the nice thing about the way we're going to handle this is you're not going to have to know in advance what that big move is, because when the time comes for the trap to be sprung or what have you, you don't need to have planned it out in advance. You can just say, here's when my archers, jump out of the bushes or whatever. And then what we'll do is we'll freeze frame the action, and we'll make a series of rolls to determine how well that actually went. Like, if you wanted to put archers in the bushes, then we're going to have to make a roll to determine whether or not the archers got put in the bushes without anybody noticing. Stuff like that. So this is sort of stolen completely from Blades in the Dark, but we're not worrying about the stress mechanic because this is it, fellas. So just if you've prepared stuff, even if you thought of it like 2 seconds ago, you've prepared it. Just tell me.
We're doing a Bill and
I've
Ted's
heard mine.
bonus journey thing.
Absolutely.
That's
That's
prepared.
absolutely what it is.
Yep.
Except, we're going to pretend it's not completely contrived. We're just going to pretend. But it is. It's totally contrived.
I know what I'm doing.
Perfect. But if that changes, we'll never know.
I'm pretty confident on this one.
Okay. Good. Yeah. I should have taken that bite when the attention wasn't on me there. Oh, excuse me.
We're waiting.
I know.
Cue the Jeopardy music.
So the royal wedding. It's been difficult to put together properly. Gertrude was pretty upset about the limitations that she was given in terms of both materials and security.
Time got moved up.
Yeah, and there are riots occurring, both from people who seem like they're not entirely of their right mind, and people who seem very reasonably upset that they have no food to eat. So, even amidst the vaulted, beautiful. What are we laughing at?
Torin just gave Beatrix a really dirty look about that council.
They were just laughing about people starving. I was like, this has taken a really dark turn.
How terrible. Well, they've no bread to eat. Just let them eat cake. Anyway, so even in the main hall, the great hall of the keep, you can still hear the distant noises of bread riots and general discontent. The sound carries that much. There's so much of it. So as we come in, there is a gathering of lords and ladies that looks rather more sparse than one would hope for such a big event. But up at the front, there is an officiant whose nature I have not determined, so we'll just call them the officiant.
So
Think like
I was
Beetlejuice.
thinking.
Yeah, wait.
I was thinking about that. Right.
Yeah?
So
Are you the officiant?
I am the official.
You know what? That's totally Torin.
But you have to say
That's so
marriage.
Torin.
Marriage.
Love. True love.
Okay, so Torin's up at the front. Wait, who's gonna walk
So
her
who's
down the
gonna
aisle?
walk-
I have
your daughter
a wife to murder.
See, that's just Tuesday for Torin.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is that like a Princess Bride reference or Torin's to-do list?
Yeah, right.
So you're up at the front. Gozar is standing off to one side, playing his part, I assume.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect.
So, I'm sorry, this is within the keep?
Yes. Yeah. So the keep's a big place, though. So there's options for how one might come in.
Yes.
Torin, or actually, let's not ask Torin. Felix, are you in attendance?
Yeah, in royal, or in, not royal, but in like a
Armor.
Polished armor.
formal
Polished
armor.
armor.
Your formal armor.
Yeah. We painted a bow tie on it, and there's like an kind of like an honor guard or something like that there.
Does the Star of the North have any sort of involvement in these sort of ceremonies?
No. I think this is a new venture because of the merge between the army and the Star of the North.
Okay, cool. So as the ceremony gets ready to get going, a bell chimes, and the doors at the far end of the hall open, and Jane, in a very lovely gown, appears behind them. Who's walking her down the aisle, if you're officiating?
You?
No. No.
Your son.
What son? That's a good question.
Even worse for the son. Not even invited to the wedding.
No one. She just walks herself.
That's
Because
what you'd want for her.
Because I said she was going to walk down with one of her younger brothers,
Mm-hmm.
but she absolutely refused.
Okay. So, let's see. So as she's walking down, Gozar, what are you thinking right now?
Gozar's actually probably a little shocked. He hasn't really, still a little young, hasn't really taken super notice into ladies and things like that. He's kind of busy trying to, help save his family. So I think he's actually taken back a bit of her beauty and like dressed up a bit and things like that.
Oh, cool.
I think it shows a little bit on his face as well too.
Torin whispers out of the side of the mouth, "Sheath your sword."
Adjusts pelvis uncomfortably.
Sounds like a
Shift that
16-year-old.
codpiece back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so as your son-in-law-to-be is shifting uncomfortably, what are you thinking?
Am I thinking?
Yeah, what's your main concern right now?
Reception.
The reception. You're already thinking about the reception.
Yes.
Because
Well, I've started already, but
Started drinking.
oh yeah, I am Torin. Well, not I, but Torin is almost
3 sheets to the wind.
yes, like not quite there.
It's gonna be a fun ceremony.
so not 3 sheets to the wind, but like
2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
What time is it?
What time is it?
What time is it? Gertrude.
2 o'clock.
Oh, like yeah, 2 3/4.
Okay. Okay, so Felix, you're stuck in this ceremony that you're here for. Or do you actually care about the ceremony, or is this like just you're putting in an official appearance because you've effectively taken control of the Star of the North?
He is really agitated because
Why could that be?
There's all this stuff that's been going on, and ever since he's returned, he's just waiting for the hammer to drop, pretty much. So he cannot relax. He has not been sleeping. He's just ragged. He's just awful, like in awful shape. And so he is completely just fried from waiting for the army of Reavers to start like pushing in at any moment.
Yeah.
So he's there, but he's not really paying attention to what's going on. He's kind of
Yep. Yes.
I'd like to send Felix another little message.
Roll plus arcane.
That is a 13.
nice.
All right, well, I don't think I need to look up the move. You just do whatever the fuck you want. What do you want to do? Well, I mean, that's kind of how Powered by the Apocalypse works, within reason.
Are these decadent scum really worth the effort of saving them? Without the cleansing blight to wipe this slate clean, these fools and brigands
No making faces. That's bad radio.
and corrupt to the bone parasites will destroy each other in due time. There are better ways to serve life and the future.
He'll kind of let out a helpless yelp that might draw some sidelong stares.
So, do you just want to fuck with him here, or do you actually want to
No,
get
I
him to do something?
yeah. So I want to like, in addition to the message, I want to like send him a vision,
Okay.
and the vision is like of a post-blight landscape, and it's like this vision of nature having returned to itself now that it no longer has to destroy and crush within it. It's a new ecosystem, and it's a new future.
I love the Chris is worried for how Torin would act, but Torin is so blitz right now. Like, this is fun. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll turn my back to the wedding assembly and just try to regain composure.
All right. So, Beatrix, after you're done with that little message, where are you?
I have actually, and this might be where that that action that we have.
Yeah, we can flash it back.
She is going to have herself smuggled into the city,
Okay.
and she is going to, so she's going to actually head up to the bell tower if she can make it up to the keep, or a bell tower, like if there's even better. She's going to go to the old church that she had appropriated at the beginning of this saga. And she is going to use that bell tower. But when she rings that bell, the sound is going to be... I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this. It's essentially like... So when a bell usually rings, right? You know, there's an echo, and there's like there's a vibration. There's like there's reverberations.
Yes.
Now when she rings it, though, it's going to be infused with like the field of the blight. And so what it's going to do is it's going to ring like cacophonous silence. So what it's going to do is like, when like the bell rings, and it's going to ring as many times as the wedding bells ring. So it's essentially going to sync up. And what's going to happen is that as the bells from the wedding ring, the bells from this this blighted bell are going to crash into them and silence them.
Okay, so are you waiting until...
So it's going to be like across the city, like so you'll hear it like coming, and then it'll just stop dead.
Okay. Sorry, just gotta... Okay, sorry.
That's fine.
So, what's this gonna do?
What it's going to do is...
I mean, it sounds cool as shit, but what's it gonna do?
So what it's going to do is, first off, it's going to... All of the people who had been infected, but like not really like... Not corrupted to the point of like exploding, it's
Yeah.
going to like wake them up as if they were like sleeper agents.
Ah, okay.
So it's going to be a call to arms, but it's going to be the ultimate call to, you know, cause massive chaos.
So, the city's gonna explode.
Yeah, it's gonna. We're talking like Batman Begins with the Narrows and the aeration.
So, the scope of that sounds to me like you need to take a mark for it.
Yep.
You cool
Yeah.
with that? Because that would be your third mark, and that means we trigger the next part of your end of season move, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So have you thought about what that's going to look like?
Yeah. So essentially, what's going to happen is that Beatrix is going to climb up to the top of the bell, the top of the spire above the bell, and she is going to, because like this silence, you know, rings out, and then once it fades, she is going to like stand from the bell tower and shout, "People of Falcrest, you have nothing left. Your food stores are worn, your water is poisoned, and your leadership only cares for the pomp and circumstance of its own decadent, incestuous nature. What I promise is a new beginning, and for that I only ask that you join me." And she is going to kind of like let this, you know, the bell ring go, and like that'll be like just as like the lava flows kind of like start to, it'll all be timed up. So like the lava flows are like coming into town, and like the tunnels burst out from under the walls with the reavers. You can join me, or you can die in fire, or you can die being torn limb from limb, or you can live with the silence of the blight. And she'll just pitch herself over.
Just fall off of the
Yeah.
tower? Okay. So let's take a look at your end of season move. What
Yes.
does that describe?
So what I had one in mind, but let me know if like
Yeah.
like, you know, if it's for you to pick it. So
Well, see, this is an end of season move, so you get a lot of liberty here. Like, your character is done at this point. So you get a lot of liberty with what you want to do to the fiction.
okay. So what I had in mind with this, and I'm trying to scan through it. Actually, do you have it printed? Can I just?
I don't, but I can find the...
Okay. Oh, that's all right. I've got the PDF. So what I had in mind was essentially that Beatrix herself was just going to have, because I think one of them is like, you know, you are still, like, your body is still there, but like, you know, something else replaces it. Oh, thank you. So let's see
Is
here.
that the right one in? Is that the...
Yeah,
Yeah, I
here it
believe
is.
so.
Something enters you and burns your soul away. You're gone, but there's a new tenant in the building. Your character is now an NPC that looks like you, but decidedly is not you. If the game continues, the MC will make a new threat based on whatever it is you're wearing your face and flesh, and you may create a new character with 1 free advancement. So, what is going to happen to Beatrix is that she is going to pitch herself off of the bell tower.
Mm-hmm.
And she is going to begin to fall, but as she begins to fall, her flesh begins like it almost begins melting off of her skin like some sort of almost like it was like a rubber mask that had just flown off. And what's left is it's a skeleton, but it's no longer a human skeleton. It's like half woman, half like vulture. It's like a skeletal, massive bird of scavenge. That is just that, you know. So as she's pitching down, these wings burst out of her back. These skeletal wings burst out of her back, and through no adherence to like physics or lift or like the properties thereof, she just as she's about to hit the ground of the area in front of the church, she swings back upward and begins to caw through the city. Just this harrowing, ghastly caw.
Okay.
That terrorizes all who hear it.
So somehow everybody knows what this creature is called. What's it called?
It's called the Wraith.
The Wraith. Bitchin'. All right. So now we could start you over with a different character, but I don't think that's really going to be appropriate here, just because we don't want to get started on something else.
That's fine.
But so what I want you to do is you're going to control the Blight Terror here.
Okay.
You can tell me what the Wraith does in response to certain things. You can tell me what the mobs do, the Reavers do, what happens with the lava coming in. I'll give you authorial control over that. So when we need to know what happens there, you get to decide.
Excellent.
And
Love it.
you can roll dice. We'll keep it real simple with full success, mixed success, fail. And we'll just see how each individual thing goes. So back at the wedding, that's been so rudely interrupted. The collected lords and ladies panic. Because everyone heard this, all of this, and it's pretty clear that shit has gone bananas. So, what are each of you doing? Starting with Gozar.
I think hearing the voice, I think Gozar would be ready to kind of jump into action and kind of see what the hell's going on.
Okay.
Obviously he's got a different view of how the kingdom should be run than Torin, which leads to what he did to Torin when I jump back.
Okay. Do we want to explore that now?
Yeah. So he went in as Beatrix, the old Beatrix before.
Well, let's phrase that as, what did he try to do?
Poison.
And tried to poison
His
Torin.
alcohol because he knows he drinks a lot. So she goes in to have like conversation with him to warn him, kind of let him know what happened to her when they were out exploring, and to warn him of what was coming. And during the conversation, she slipped poison into.
Should we do that, like the scene between fake Beatrix and?
So this will have occurred in advance of the wedding.
Right.
So let's play that out then. So you, Gozar, as appearing perfectly as Beatrix, goes to see Lord Torin. So Lord Torin, you accept her, I assume, in your study as usual when she finally returns from the expedition gone wrong.
She waits.
Of course she does.
Naturally.
Gozar is not surprised by this, I'm sure.
Yep.
Stands there, she waits.
Yep.
Eventually, do you see her?
Well, eventually my steward lets her in.
Yep. Okay. Take it away, Falls.
I try and get the voice again. Good evening, Lord Torin.
Where the fuck have you been?
Well, you see, I had an interesting journey.
I've heard.
Yes, a bit different than what you may have heard.
Oh yeah?
Yes, as we were out on the expedition on the battlefield, you see, I had a conversation with the Blight.
Can you elaborate?
You're in grave danger.
No shit.
You need to evacuate the city
Where?
wherever you can.
No, there is nowhere else to evacuate.
Then you need to get your men and you need to fight.
Like what?
The Blight. The
We've been-
monsters. The
We've been
giants.
doing that.
They're going to overrun your city. They're going to overrun your walls. And you will have nothing to do but die.
That's what we've been doing.
Such great leadership you have. And at that point, she's starting to like kind of walk towards like what she's assuming would be like the windows where the liquor is and things like that.
So she's going to make her attempt to
Yeah.
poison. So let's do that right now. So go ahead and let's see. What would
like
this be?
fly or
Sleight of hand.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Status here. Doesn't matter because I'm probably gonna fail. 'Cause it's
I'm
something
thinking
I
this
really
is.
wanna
No, I think this is actually just. This is going to be a face duress. So this is going to be plus steady.
Alright, that's +1. 1. That's 6.
Oh,
Sorry.
6.
Uh-oh.
4.
Oh, okay. So you get something in Torin's alcohol. So this isn't going to kill him outright.
No, I wanted it to be a slow.
So tell me about this poison.
It's not a super extravagant poison, but it's one of the things that Gozar had known he's wanted to kill Torin for much longer than before Jane had asked.
His special drug.
So he's been researching, and all those little like potions he's made here and there, they were kind of all more of a practice for getting this one right. So this one it's an odorless poison. It's definitely something that doesn't take an effect right away, but it's within a week. It's basically slow, knowing he continues to drink and things like that. One full dose. So once he
Can I roll
finishes,
perception? I'm just kidding.
No.
once he finishes like the flask or whatever it is, like that's all the poison. And it takes about a week from there. And he knows that he's going to continue drinking and things like that. So he assumes that Torin's going to be somewhat oblivious. But he's been working for quite a while to develop a poison like that.
Okay. So the way we're going to handle this mechanically is when this poison ends up hindering you, you'll get to make a roll to see if you can overcome it.
Sure.
So, do you intend to accomplish anything else with this meeting, or are you gonna?
I just want to kill Torin.
Okay, so we'll say that
I wanted to get in and put the poison in. So
let's say you
so if
said
you- so
a
if
bunch
you
of
were
other
to go,
cryptic shit.
He's not going to know that it was Gozar or anything. So
Yeah, we won't roleplay the rest of this. We'll just say you say a bunch of cryptic shit and then
Yeah.
you take your leave.
Yeah.
So Torin,
In character.
do you do anything to follow up on this?
So, you haven't told me anything I don't already know. We've been fighting the Blight for ages.
you don't understand.
You were supposed to stop it.
Don't you think I tried?
You didn't try hard enough.
The Blight took me
Go
out
for it.
of the battle.
Go for it.
Me.
What do you
Who's
mean, you?
walked
Who the
through-
fuck are you?
I have been the only person to walk through the Blight.
Oh, who gives a fucking shit if you walk through the Blight or not?
How,
You haven't done anything for me.
How have your men fared for this?
Get out.
At that point, she has done her business and leaves.
All right, cool.
You missed your chance to sleep with Torin and then transform back into yourself.
That would have been great. Slightly disturbing.
That
but
would have
great.
killed him right there.
My My black cherry. Of course, that might be making some assumptions about Torin's what he gets up to. Anyway, or rather doesn't. So that's a thing that happened. Torin,
Yeah.
how do you respond
To what?
to the coming madness, the message, the bell, the sounds of a city erupting into chaos?
So we're back to the present now.
Yes.
Okay.
Takes a drink.
Well, you can't really.
Sure he can. He's the king.
He's just gonna wave on Jane.
Yeah. Good job. You're father of the fucking year.
Yeah.
And he's just gonna continue on, like nothing's going on.
Gozar's gonna have a huge problem with that.
Okay, so you want to just continue the ceremony like nothing's happening in spite of the chaos it's erupting.
Yep.
You know what? I think Gertrude's actually fully behind that course of action. Felix, how are you responding?
His last orders to everybody. He had a full unit meeting with everybody.
Yep.
To tell them that they're not only are we to continue patrols throughout Fallcrest, but in the surrounding regions, because we're expecting this, and he's paranoid, and so the patrols have circled have been kind of like around the clock throughout Fallcrest and the surrounding regions up until the Blight, basically trying to find out whenever the Reavers come to fall back and pull all reserve forces to address them. So he once he hears the shrieking and the city falling, he assumes that the Reavers are pushing in, and so he's given orders to all the men to attack and kill the Reavers on sight. So once people start turning and causing chaos and acting inhumane or crazy within the city, I think that the troops can start attacking the populace.
Okay, so they were primed and ready to go full fucking...
Yeah.
What's a good metaphor here? Chinese Communist Party police on Hong
Tiananmen
Kong
Square.
protesters? But with swords.
Yeah. The Fallcrest Massacre.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so they're primed and ready for that. So, basically, it's just absolute carnage
Yes.
throughout the city. So, but Felix personally, is he gonna leave the wedding? Is he gonna go and command the troops?
He's staying here and he feels like it's done. And it's gonna play out, and he'll stay there as kind of the last bastion of everything here. He'll call the guards to him. I think the guards are kind of looking at him for some what do you want us to do? How do you want us to react? And he's he's snapped, and he said it's done. It's happened.
Cool.
It's set into motion. And
So
he's kind of waiting for he's basically waiting for the Reavers to come in, and
That I like that. So he's sort of had this emotional break,
yeah.
and he's shut himself off at this point because everything's in place. There's nothing I can do anymore, so I'm just gonna stand here and wait until we see what happens.
So as the Jane continues down the aisle, he'll draw his sword and just kind of stand there, expectantly.
waiting for something to come through the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the nobles that are near you and your little honor guard are a little put off by this, but they're freaking out plenty anyway. So I think we've set the stage pretty well. So let's take a quick break because I need more fluids. Okay, so who wants to jump in?
Gozar would.
Okay.
Marriage.
So, Gozar, you find yourself, in spite of the chaos that's emerging here, Lord Torin seems to be proceeding as if everything is fine.
He's not happy with that. Where is Jane in relative position at this point? Is she just...
Let's say she's up at the altar and the ceremony's ready to begin.
He's going to whisper in her ear a couple things. One, that you look dashing. Second of all...
Ladies and gentlemen,
Second of all...
thank you for coming to today's ceremony.
Second of all, the deed has already started.
Today,
Third of all...
we
I need
have
to-
gathered here
Torin, is
to
your
join
alcohol
the
out?
hands of my
Is your liquor out?
daughter. Say again?
Is your liquor out, sir? You must have your stash behind there. It's gone. You must have some for the reception.
Drink it. To join the hands of my daughter, Jane,
Stop to think.
and my future son, Gozar.
He sighs. Whispers to her, "There's danger. I must go. Help protect the city, or this will all be for naught."
Okay, so you want her to...
My hope is I want her to understand that my allegiance is to the city, and my allegiance is to protecting the city, and basically wanting her to understand that if we say I do, it's a moot point if we don't get out there and try and do something.
I think she's acutely aware of the situation.
Okay.
Like, she's actually pretty smart, and you've seen this
Yeah, of
from
course.
your other interactions. So she's very alarmed by what's going on. So do you want her to do something?
I would want her to stand up to her father and say, "Father, and Mother, this is not the time. We need to address the city and we need to help our people."
All right. So do you wanna try and persuade her to do that very quickly?
Would I need to? Is that something she would do on her own, or is that something I would
So-
need to persuade her on?
10 seconds.
Yeah, we'll discuss while he's gone.
Yeah.
So let's not focus on what you would want her to say. What would you want her to accomplish here? So would you want...
I would want her accomplished basically nailing to her parents that this needs to be postponed until after we
Okay,
take care
so
of this.
you want to put a stop to the ceremony, and you want to
Yes,
get
not
her
because I
help to
don't
do
want,
it.
not because I don't want to get married, but because I feel it's more important to take care of our people than this wedding, because our people are dying out there potentially, and we're in here doing this wedding that is going to be for nothing.
Okay, so you want to stop the wedding and swing into action. And you want her to do this, or you want to help her do this?
I want it to be a joint thing.
Okay. So, speak up.
Today we join the hands of
Lord
my
Lord
daughter
Torin.
and goes. What?
We need to postpone the wedding.
I'm sorry. What?
We need to postpone.
Gertrude is shaking her head really hard.
Did you hear
No.
what was happening outside?
We have people for that.
This
Today we join the hands of my daughter, Jane.
All right, I'm gonna make a roll. Does he have any sort of knife, like sword on or anything like that?
Huh.
Would you?
No, him.
Oh. Torin, do you have a sword on you?
I have a sword. No. No.
I feel like he would have like someone like next to him who holds his sword, so he doesn't have to.
That is true.
Yeah,
A boy that he can put his foot on and push
He
away.
would never hold his own sword.
yeah, kicks him down.
Yeah.
Swing.
I would say he's just going to start walking away. He's going to walk towards the door. And he's going to turn around and look at Jane and said, I'll be back.
There he goes, down the hall, out the door.
Are you actually saying that?
Yeah.
What is your response to him leaving?
No, I'm sorry. What would be? Felix! Felix!
I'll just kind of. I'm not sure what he's trying to get me to do, but I have
Stop him!
I have one purpose, and that's to wait for the Reavers to come. And,
So are you like full on ignoring him, or?
I look at him because he's calling my name, but I'll kind of see that he's trying to get me to participate in the wedding ceremony, and I'm just gonna turn to face, like, return my attention to the door.
What's that? Oh, you're not a horde of reavers.
Pretty much. And
Okay.
So Gozar would have to like move around me in order to get to leave the chapel or whatever. But aside from that, I don't care if he goes.
What's Jane's reaction when Torin looks?
So she sees you trying to continue in spite of him leaving, and she just says, "Father, I don't think this is the time for this. The city is erupting into chaos. Now's not the time for a wedding."
He's going to turn around, grab a sword from the guy that's holding the sword, and he's going to go after Gozar.
Okay. So you kick your sword bearer down to as in one smooth motion of unsheathing your sword.
He's done that a lot.
It's like it's fine. You practice for this 5 times a day. And so you charge after him.
Yeah.
All right. So
He's going to have a minus on his charge.
no, hold on.
Yes.
We're getting to that. So as you suddenly surge forward, you feel woozy and the world spins.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've been feeling shittier than usual all day, but like, ooh, it's hitting you all at once here.
Yeah.
So, do you want to push through it? Do you want to take a moment to recover?
No, I'm going to push through that shit.
All right, so roll plus fierce.
Must have been the 86.
Bad year.
Oh,
bad
that's
year.
A bad year.
And that's a bad roll.
Bad year. Son of a bitch.
We still need good rolls early.
That's a 4 on the dice. Ooh,
That's
you have a
4 plus.
Plus you get a +3 on Fierce.
Stand by. Fierce was 2. So that's a 6.
6, huh?
have anything that can boost it?
Joe,
Can't say, do you know who I am to the poison?
do you know who I am?
I've swallowed
There's Lord
poison.
Torin shouting at his blood again.
I'll be dead in 5 days from the alcohol anyway. Give me that time.
Basically embalmed already. All right, so what's your fierce?
Plus 2.
So that's a partial.
That's what?
No, he got a 6.
No, I got
Oh.
6.
Oh, you're only plus 2. Ooh. So if Lord Torin really succumbed to this poison, what would he expect to experience?
Gozar, the poison's gonna be. It's gonna be quick. It's not gonna be. He's not gonna be suffering. It's gonna be like he's tired. He's drowsy. He probably passes out, and that would just be it. Like he wouldn't suffer.
All right. So, as you surge forward after Gozar, the room spins. The your blade feels heavy in your hand, and you feel it dropping away. And you try to follow after Gozar, but he's moving so much faster than you are. You don't know how he's moving that fast. And then suddenly it's, "Hello, Floor, how you doing?" And you face first in the carpet here. You're conscious, but you're in and out. You have a bunch of attendants that rush over to help you. Do you ask them to do anything, or do you just try to rest and recover?
How so when they help me like up,
Yes.
like am I able to stand again, or
So if you want them to help you to your feet, they will lift you up. You won't
help
really
me.
be standing on your own,
help
but
me to my feet?
they get you upright.
Pick up my fucking sword.
So the sword bearer comes back over.
Yes, my lord.
Yes, my lord.
Yeah, I continue after Gozar.
Okay, so you try to follow him, but he's basically gone at this point. You run out into the hallway. You sort of slur at somebody who is standing around. "Where did he go?" or something like that.
I don't even do that. I fucking take a swing at him and slit his throat.
Oh yeah, so do you mistake him for Gozar?
Yeah.
Or okay, yeah. So you murdered some fucking poor servant.
Yeah.
Good job. I'm not gonna make you roll for
You
that.
can't run out of
succeed.
my wedding. I'm gonna kill you.
So you've done it. The beast is slain.
Yeah. Now he's just gonna be like, he's just gonna sort of halfway pass out, and his attendants will catch him, and he's gonna
Nap.
yeah, he's gonna make his way back to the into the hall, and announce the to the refreshments.
All right. Well, most of the guests at this point are leaving, and they see a murdered servant out in the hall, and they start leaving even faster. Felix, what do you do while all this is going on?
Well, that, like, people running around with swords draws my attention, and if he leaves peacefully, if Gozar leaves peacefully, that's fine. He's killing people, so he'll
You
kind of.
didn't see that.
Oh,
Here I go killing again.
Oh, okay. Was it in
It
the?
was like outside of the
Okay.
like down the aisle, out the door.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
this
it's
is
of the
outside
chapel.
of the,
Okay.
Yeah.
If everything is done here and like my duties are fulfilled, I think that I'll kind of go out into the city. I'll call the rest of the honor guard with me, and we'll join the fray and kind of like assess the situation outside.
Okay. And Gozar, once you leave the keep, what are you doing?
I'm heading to where I heard the voice.
You're heading where?
Heading to the direction I heard the voice come from.
Okay, so you're going to try and make it to Beatrix's chapel?
Yeah, that rough direction.
Okay. So... Let's see. Torin's sort of down for the count for a little bit here.
I'm about to die, probably.
Gozar is
Aren't
headed
they
off
all?
on his own in the middle of a exploding city. And then Felix is trying to take direct command of the battle at this point. So,
I actually think... I work my back up. I actually think on my way out, I would have probably said something to Felix because...
You trust him enough to tell him that you were ordered to kill him.
Yeah, like we had like something, even though like I know like he left me behind, but like it was
Well, you were dead, man.
yeah, like he got that. Like you were in a battleground, things like that. I think he would have just said on the way out, "I'm going after this thing," and that
That
was.
was my plan from the beginning. I brought you two together. Right?
I think he would just told Felix, "I'm going after
Save
it."
the
Like
city, man.
nothing fancy, but just like that's where he's going, just to maybe see if Felix would send somebody or like something, but
So you're actually going to seek out the wraith?
whatever the voice is. Yeah, if it's the wraith, then I'm going after the wraith.
All right.
And I think he would tell Felix that he's going after wherever that voice came from.
Okay. So, where would the wraith be?
So, I think the Wraith's first goal is that she is going to be essentially leading like some of the turned horde toward the city gates. And she's not only doing this to open up the way for the main force of Reavers that are like charging the city, because they were stationed like a few miles away, but like they're running in essentially, and so she is going to be swooping down and just like almost like her own arcane battering ram to lead the forces of the turned populace against the defenders who are attempting to like man the walls and to blow through the gates.
Okay. So your first thrust is to get the gates open, and that's where we're going to concentrate your efforts.
Right. So I'm talking like now if I remember correctly, we're talking like the east.
Yeah,
gates?
this would probably be the east. Yeah.
Right, so like another advantage of that is that it draws attention away from the south and the Reavers that are coming up through the tunnels.
Yep. Okay. So that's going to be the Wraith's focus. Is she or it going to be present for that, or
She'll be like, she'll be hovering probably about 50 feet above the in the air, just like using her calls to draw in and target the populace as if it's like some sort of like
Australian Shepherd.
yeah no, that's exactly it. She's essentially shepherding them to the gates.
okay. All right. So
Would this be like a fierce roll? Or you said we were just going to do like straight.
yeah, we'll figure it out. I don't think that's necessarily a roll because that's the direction you're moving in. We'll see if it's opposed.
Okay.
At this point.
But so again, like Felix had given the command, so even the turned citizens within Fallcrest aren't going to have free movement. They're going to be opposed by the Star of the North, the Star of the North, and the
Then
militia.
let's do a straight up and down roll to see how that action resolves. Oh, you want to use these?
That is a 5. I should have.
Or is it opposing or no?
No. So
okay,
this is
okay.
because what she's acting against is something that's just sort of set in place. Like if you were directly commanding the troops,
Gotcha.
we'd handle that differently in
okay.
terms of mechanics. But you set it up, and she failed to knock it down. So let's say the populace surges forward, but there is a phalanx of troops in tight formation on the gate itself, and while their numbers are impressive, the discipline of the soldiers holds, and their superior armament basically just turns the square just inside of the gate into a fucking charnel house. They don't really manage to get the gates open. They do a lot of damage to the star forces there, but the attack is blunted. And even though it's fanatical, confronted with that much blood and horror, even these basically mind-controlled people end up breaking and running.
Yeah.
So Felix, you leave the keep and you arrive at a command post that's not far away, and are immediately greeted with a multitude of reports of chaos all over the city. There's a report that there's a battle at the East Gate, but when last the runner was there, the line was holding. There are reports of Reavers entering the city from the south through unknown means. There are reports of the walls on the north side of the city failing, and generalized mayhem throughout. You have a small reserve of forces available. Where would you like to commit them?
Split the troops, split the reserves. I'll tell half of the troops to go find Colonel Yu, and give orders to Colonel Yu to secure the breach in the north gate, and I'll take the second half down to the south gate.
Okay, yeah. So you're,
Well, the breach in the north gate is lava.
Did that come through the? Does he know that or?
Yeah. So it's known that it's lava
okay.
flows that are damaging the north gate. I mean,
Okay.
the north gate and the walls really. There aren't really Reaver incursions yet because lava.
Yeah.
But it's known. Everybody's pretty much certain that once enough of a breach has been made, there are going to be ways in for the Reavers.
So I will.
Currently, it's basically undefended aside from some observers. Though.
So I'll take the men with like archery, who have archery like specialties or backgrounds, and I'll tell them to take up high points around the breach with archers and with Colonel Yu, and I'll take the other men to go secure the breach in.
Yeah, we'll say Colonel Yu is he's on site at your command post,
Okay.
and he receives those orders and heads out immediately. And so you're heading south towards the Reavers that are coming in from underneath the walls.
Right, and we're gonna try to, and I'll say that I'll leave orders at the command post for if there are any troops that return, and if some semblance of order returns to the interior of Fallcrest, continue to divide up troops to the north and the south, and continue to send runners with updates to the south wall. So.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, so your command post is essentially diverting all information flow to wherever you're going to end up being.
Yeah.
All right. So let's say you head south, and there was, some patrols that initially met with the Reavers that were coming through, and at this point they've basically all been slaughtered.
The patrols have been slaughtered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They inflicted some losses, but they weren't prepared for this.
Okay.
So the groups of Reavers that came in, they're basically just wreaking havoc. You see that there's a bunch of Reavers that are attacking groups of civilians, as well as some of the few remaining food storage silos. But you also see that there's an opportunity to close the breach. Which do you want to pursue?
I'll work at closing the breach first.
Okay, so you lead your troops towards the breach to try and reclaim it and hopefully find a way to close it.
Yeah, and then we'll worry about the mess inside.
All right, so are you commanding from behind the front line, or are you leading directly from the front?
So, in order to close the breach, are there still Reavers around there, or is it?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
and they're pouring through.
And what are the? I mean, is this going to be a situation that I'm like charging into like my doom, or?
You are outnumbered,
Yeah.
but your men are well equipped and well trained. Many of them have combat experience against Reavers.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go in with them then.
So
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna
battle
charge
is
in.
probably
but-
a fair fight, shall we say?
Okay. Yeah. Then I'll go in with them. I'm probably not gonna lead the charge, but I'll charge in with them.
Okay, so you're commanding from behind the front line.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's. Hmm.
Somebody's got to rule this heap after after this is over.
Let's just do a roll plus.
No.
Which one would best be command? Probably Sly. To stand back and
All right.
and see where the opportunities are to commit your forces to best effect. Holy shit! Those
that
dice
shit.
are hot.
Those are the weighted ones, right? So
Apparently,
Oh damn!
yeah,
that's 13.
yeah.
That's
So
2 13s almost, right?
Well, I
That's all
used those red dice that
Oh,
bit me
okay.
in the ass the next time.
So describe your masterful tactics here.
We'll have like men in 2 columns, and just try. And we use the 2 columns to create 2 fronts on both sides, and just try to punch through the group of reavers, and have a couple of men, and then having those 2 fronts like angle and push in and provide support for the men who are trying to like pull rubble and just try to find things to patch up these holes.
All right, so so you blunt the charge of the group of reavers that's coming through, and they're pretty well slaughtered. You take losses, but overall it's very much in your favor. And you occupy the breach. How do you want to handle it? Do you want to find a way to try and close it? Are you satisfied to just garrison it?
I think that we should try to close it for now, and then we're gonna keep more people here to like stem off the flow. I mean, it's a weak spot in the wall, so we're gonna assume that they're gonna keep trying to come through here. But we also need to manage what the mess that is the interior of Fallcrest too. So we can't just stay here and guard the breach. We need to close it and try to manage the chaos.
All right. So yeah. So one of your men finds, let's say, I want to say explosives, but I don't know how readily available those would be. Let's say, there's just so happens there's ye old fireworky shop
Nice.
nearby, and one of your men finds a crate that they can use to basically blow the breach and collapse it. It's going to deal like terrible long-term damage to the wall, but it's going to close the hole for now and give you guys some definite respite.
Okay.
So,
Ye old firework shop. Well placed. Yeah.
you know, sometimes you just can't overthink it.
Fate shines on us today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah, you guys go ahead and you blow the breach, and that seals it off for now. They'll probably make progress later if they're determined, and they seem pretty determined, but for now it's going to give you some breathing room.
Good thing they're killing off all these citizens, Lord Torin. That's not going to be too much of a tax on the food stores, huh?
Yeah, they're burning the food, but they're also killing the people who eat the food, so...
All according to plan.
Yeah. So, successful operation there. Gozar.
Gozar wants to do a couple things. When he's heading towards the wraith, does he first of all come across any, whether it's the palace guards or the anyone else trying to fight, like anything else out there?
There's ice as you're making progress in the direction of where you think the wraith is. There's intermittent scenes of chaos and carnage. A skirmish between a small band of reavers and some guards. One group of townsfolk just mercilessly slaughtering an unarmed group of other townsfolk. There's all sorts of permutations of this that you see along the way.
So Gozar has a couple goals here. One, he wants to try and inspire the people to stop fighting each other and to look at the bigger picture and fight what's coming in. And he kind of wants to do that through a show of force. So I have a question.
Okay.
Do you know who I am? The honor move.
Yeah.
It's technically with threaten with force or persuade with leverage.
Yeah.
The move I would want to do would actually be from the Adept playbook, the power one with the magic, with the lifting the stone. Technically, it's the roll arcane, so it's not a threaten with force. But since it's actually an attack, could I still get away with doing the Do You Know Who I Am?
So, Do You Know Who I Am leverages the power of your name and your association. So how would that...
I basically want to announce I am Gozar of House Thornberry, and then I want to basically use that magic attack I have to lift one of the stones and literally just magically swipe it against a bunch of reavers and knock out a bunch of reavers and basically show them, listen, follow me. Like, we can do this.
Okay. So let's say that the first opportunity you see for this is there's a group of mixed Star of the North and town soldiers, or Paulcrest soldiers, that are attempting to fight off a band of reavers and are losing ground.
Okay.
And they're defending a group of civilians behind them.
Okay.
So you want to use magic to lift up a stone and like smash it down on the reavers?
Yep.
All right, so let's do that first. So roll plus arcane.
All right. Am I going to get can I use the honor move for that? It's technically...
So you want to inspire them to follow you and fight back?
Yeah.
So let's treat that as two different separate things.
Okay.
So you gotta solve the problem. These people are being attacked first.
Okay. So
And
this would
then
just be the straight attack roll or whatever.
So roll
it's
plus arcane to see how that goes with your ridiculous dice.
3. And a 3 is 6 plus 3 is 9.
Nice.
You took some of the Star of the North out.
Yeah, so... well, no, so let's just make this a very simple... You get a choice. Is your attack messy and it splashes onto some of the soldiers? Or is it less effective and a bunch of the reavers survive?
I would probably say... I was looking at technically 7-9. The other option that you can take is I take a harm, which I would probably do that instead.
All right, so you want to take a harm
I would take 1 harm
to just achieve what you're after here?
Yeah.
I'll allow that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it takes incredible concentration and you feel life literally leaching out of you to make it happen. But you lift up a massive chunk of stone and obliterate the group of reavers. Some of the guards have to like wipe the reaver chunks out of their eyes in order to see after this. And so you said you wanted to inspire them to follow you at this point?
Yeah.
All right, so this is where you can use Do You Know Who I Am?
Okay.
And Persuade with Leverage
All
here.
right. So this is persuade with leverage is what?
Wiley.
Wiley.
Wiley E. Gozar.
Straight up. 3, 7, so 7.
You can use
Okay.
Nathan's pen.
So give me the elevator pitch.
I'm trying to think.
You know who I am.
You know who I am.
I would have been your son and your prince.
I may want to do another move if I can. I'm full of moves because if it's last night, I'm going out big.
Okay, tell me what you have in mind.
Trying to decide if I want to talk to the Unspeakable, harness the Unspeakable power, but I don't know what I could do in this case to change the world just a little bit. Where,
Okay.
because I have to make a roll for harness the Unspeakable power, obviously.
All right. So if you really want to succeed on this that badly, and you want to use the Unspeakable power to bump up your roll here, let's say that you can make a simple plus arcane roll here.
Okay.
And if you succeed, we'll turn that into a full success.
Okay.
And if you don't succeed, it'll be worse than
Okay. I'll go for that.
not having tried this. 4.
10 plus 3 is 13.
All right. So
You guys need to use the big dice. They're working.
yeah, with the help of how do you use the unspeakable power to enhance your sales pitch here?
So I think at this point, like, there's just so much blood everywhere. He used to just be like a concentration thing that he would just kind of like look up and talk to, you know, his ancestors and things like that. I think at this point he's just so jazzed up and so, I don't want to say gung ho, but like he's in battle mode right now, like he's never been before. I think he literally just hollers up to the sky and demands that they listen to him. And I think from there, like, the ancestors kind of watch him kind of growing and evolving into what they thought he always could be, and it kind of just happens.
Okay. So all the people that have witnessed this, your voice is amplified. It seems to speak directly into their heart. You appear larger than life before them, and like with a glow behind you.
My son.
Yeah, it's my almost son-in-law.
Who ran out of the wedding?
And they just explode in cheers, and they're ready to follow you to the ends of the earth, because for all they know, it is the end of the earth.
Okay.
So where do you go with your little impromptu
Yeah,
army?
towards the wraith.
Okay. So let's cut back to Lord Torin, who has suddenly regained consciousness in the keep. You hear discussions behind you. It's Jane and Gertrude discussing some things with some of the keep guards. They're giving them updates on the situation, but it sounds pretty grim from what you're catching snippets of. As you sort of get yourself upright again, what do you want to do?
So Gertrude and Jane are right in front of me, right?
Yep.
Who else is around?
A couple of palace guards along with
So people who don't matter.
yeah, along with your
Except for
steward,
you, right?
That is true.
Okay.
your steward and your sword footrest guy. Sword footrest guy. Yep.
So I'm gonna. Am I like lying down or am I like sitting in a chair?
Let's say they set you up in your study. You have sort of a couch that you favor when you pass out.
Oh, nice.
Which is often.
Yeah, there's a mark. There's like a
hangover-
divot.
his-
There's a Torin shaped divot in this
His
couch.
hangover chase.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm gonna look Gertrude dead in the eyes. Was it you?
My lord, I don't know what you're talking about, but we have
I'm
great
not a fool.
concerns.
Was it you?
Was what me?
Don't fucking lie to me.
What are you talking about?
He's gonna go right up to her and fucking start choking her again.
Husband of the year.
Yeah. Well, she becomes significantly less articulate with your thumb on her trachea.
Was it you?
And Jane is going to like try to shove you off. Unhand her, father.
I push her away.
All right. At that point, she goes for your sword.
You mean
The sword carrying guy.
Wait,
It should be easy to get.
yeah.
He's used to getting pushed off.
yeah, because I use Howard to be a pushover, literally.
All of a sudden, Torin's regretting the decision with that.
Professional pushover.
his like foot grips on his armor, like spreads or something like that.
Yeah, there's like his breastplate has like the outline of a foot drawn on it.
House foot.
Brace here. Yeah.
Torin drew that on him one night when he was really drunk. He's like, might as well get used to it.
Stand here and don't draw a footprint on you.
So seeing Jane going after my weapon, I'm just gonna chuck Gertrude to the floor and be like, "Was it you?"
Was what me, father? You drinking
not
yourself
Jane.
into a...
Gertrude.
Oh, Gertrude. So you're still looking at
chucking
Gertrude.
to the floor. Was it you?
Was what me? This madness?
And he's going to explain that like he's not an idiot and he knows that something's going on, like passing out and like he's passed out plenty of times. He knows the difference.
I'm sorry that you couldn't control yourself on this day of all days, but I cannot be held responsible for your weaknesses.
You're a fucking liar, Gertrude. You trying to kill me?
Kill you? If anyone's trying to kill you, it's you.
True.
You don't know that.
So at this point, Jane has gotten your sword from Mr. Pushover and is now pointing at you. She's not advancing on you because you're not choking her mother anymore. But, yeah. She's holding it like she knows what to do with it, which you recall you had her trained on that.
This is true. Like, so you're telling me you didn't fucking poison me, you cunt?
She sighs. No, I didn't poison you. Do you want to make a roll to see if she's lying?
Yes, I do. I will do the study. Was that study of person? Yes.
Yeah, sure.
So plus sly, as I recall, is not very good. +1. All right, big dice, big dice. 7, 8. Wait, no, 6. Yeah, 8.
All right, so ask two.
Yes.
I don't want to
Give
do
the-
this.
What is your character's current plan?
Well, she was really hoping to get her daughter married today. And apparently everything's just on fire now, so... And now she's being choked, so, like, she's just really scared. She
She's
just
done
wants to
being
survive.
choked. for the
She
second
was.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she really... You believe her that she had no part in poisoning you. And let's say you're reading the room. If you want to ask one of these questions about Jane, you can do that too.
Yeah. What, like along the lines of like, what are you leaving out? Sort of like, is there anything I pick up from Jane's reaction to like the question of being poisoned?
Let's say she has a look on her face that seems very final.
Yeah.
Like she... How about to describe this? So she doesn't look guilty, she just looks determined. Like she's about to do something.
Okay.
And she wasn't surprised when you said poison.
So I'm going to, Torin's going to be sort of like in the moment, like about to rip her fucking face off to
Jane's?
no Gertrude.
Yeah.
Right, and then just sort of relax, take a deep breath, and then hug her and kiss her on the forehead.
Okay.
Sorry.
I think she's abused often enough that she's used to this.
Yeah. He's gonna sort of walk over to his desk, his back to Jane, and be like, and sort of nonchalantly, like, just whimsically ask Jane, and you had nothing to do with this, right? Jane.
It never stops being funny.
So I think there is a pregnant pause there, and you hear her suddenly advancing on your position.
So he's gonna take the dirk from his desk and just with what focus he has and try to throw it at her.
Okay. We're going to engage in combat. You're going to have a -1 due to being fucking poisoned.
And inebriated.
I have a question for Torin, actually.
Yeah.
Would you have been too drunk to think of Beatrix? Since she was the person you hadn't seen?
Well, you specifically said that it was slow acting.
Yeah.
I
guess the reason I asked that is because out of the blue.
Well, no, because
Beatrix
he had
visited.
the whole thing with the letter and Gertrude
Oh, yeah,
before,
that's true, yeah,
like
That's true.
suspicion would be Gertrude.
I just wasn't sure if you would even have Beatrix in your mind.
I
Since...
don't think at all. No.
All right.
I mean, he probably talked to her chest for a little while and then, forgot that she existed.
Yeah. Okay. Where'd it go? We're doing engage in combat.
Yep. You're in a
Alright.
straight up fight with your daughter.
Father of the year.
Bitch.
Yeah.
All right.
You don't want the big dice.
I kind of want the bigger dice, but these I don't know which one.
Those are more fun.
They are more fun. This is not my role. Good. Here.
Just throw them across the room.
Yeah. Ah. Oh no.
One!
Oh no.
Okay.
That's,
Oh,
6.
7
Woo.
plus 2.
-1.
Plus 2 minus 1. So it's still partial.
Yeah, okay.
Still
So,
no fails on
Yeah.
so you get to choose one of the following. +1 harm, you inflict +1 harm, you take -1 harm. Some more extreme versions of that. Yeah. And then we just, we do harm as established.
Yeah. I mean, I think, he's been in battle before. He's going to fight aggressively.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to inflict +2 harm, but take +1 harm yourself.
Yeah.
All right. So you wheel around
Yeah,
with
I
your
go
dirk
at it.
in hand,
Yeah.
and like you smash into each other. And she
Agile when he's drunk.
she gives you a nasty cut on your left arm, and you, let's see. So if you're dealing +2 harm with the dirk against Jane, so you managed to stab her in the chest twice, and she puts this nasty wound on you. You're taking 3 harm here. Your left arm is splayed open. So that's 2 harm left, I believe.
No. Yes, 2 harm left. Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Because my first harm was healed August 3rd.
so You take 3 harm. Your arm is splayed open. You deal 2 nasty stab wounds to Jane's chest, and she reels away from you and creates some distance, putting the sword between you. And she's breathing heavily, and from the sound of it, you got her in the lung.
Feels good, doesn't it?
She girls, fuck you, tyrant.
Son Gozar is wishing he'd married her instead. He would have taken over the throne.
Give the whole new phrase to fuck, marry, kill.
Right?
So what kind of? I mean, she can bear. I'm sure she can like. She's holding up the sword, but like barely, right?
Yeah, she looks very bad.
Yeah. He's gonna
What Gertrude's doing during this time?
I think we all know who she's gonna favor.
Well, yeah.
He's gonna just fucking finish her off. Finish her.
All right, as you move in, Gertrude runs shrieking at you to stop, putting herself between you and Jane.
Decisions. Who to kill first, the wife or the daughter?
Fuck that.
Well, is Torin actually have feelings for Gertrude? Is it possible?
His heart grew 3 sizes that day.
Stop! Get out of my head! Oh man. I mean, I think he'll use Gertrude as sort of a shield, and push her into her to knock them both off balance, and then go in for
Okay.
the kill. His daughter.
All right, let's see. How would we handle that? So you want to use Gertrude to create an opening against Jane to finish her off.
Yeah.
So roll plus steady here. This is going to be like a tricky move.
I'm definitely not steady. Plus 1.
His hands like shaking from all that fall.
5, 6, 7.
All right.
Minus
so
1.
No.
So I think as Gertrude runs up to you, so you achieve what you're set out to do. Okay, so the way we're going to handle this mechanically is Gertrude runs up to you, and you redirect her and shove her into Jane, who stumbles back, looking down, trying not to hurt her mother, and then looks up to see you coming at her. So we'll do engage in combat again, but you get your negative modifier here nullified by the opening that you created.
Okay.
No whammy, no whammy, no whammy.
Stuff to fail here. Bested by your daughter.
Pick one.
Oh.
One of each.
Can I gargle these ones?
Still not gonna love you.
Which
even if you
ones?
gargle it.
I know.
Big balls, big balls, big balls.
Ooh.
6.
Plus what? This is fierce, right?
Yes.
8.
8. Okay. So how are you gonna fight?
I'm gonna parry their blows. I take -1.
Okay. So as you approach, you shift your direction so that to interpose Gertrude between you and Jane as much as possible, and so Jane's strike is made far too wide, and you have plenty of time to intercept it for the most part. You knock it away with your dirk, but not before it slashes you across your right forearm. You take 1 harm.
You're having fun now, right?
But after you deflect the blow, what do you do to Jane?
I'm gonna do.
Excuse me, you're good.
I'm going to. I'm just gonna. So like I've taken Gertrude and Jane with me sort of to the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have like basically Gertrude is half on top of Jane, and I have them sort of both, my head in between both of them, and I sort of whisper into Jane's ear, but it's also into Gertrude's ear, and I'll be like, "You're the best son I've ever had," and I fucking stab her in the gut, over and over.
Jane or both of them together?
No, just Jane.
Just Jane. Well, Gertrude's there, like smashed up against her dying daughter.
I wasn't sure if he was going to try and go through both of them at the same time, kill 2 birds with 1
Oh
stone.
no, I'm not big enough for that.
Yeah, her throat catches in her breath, and she doesn't manage to say anything before she stops breathing entirely.
That's sad.
Yeah, and Gertrude just wails.
You're cold, man. It's not me, man.
And scene!
Yeah, right.
Alright, let's take a quick break. Alrighty, so lot going on here. So last we left Gozar, he was headed towards the East Gate, which is also where the Wraith was, and the Wraith was running into trouble. But I assume it is rallying its forces.
Yeah, so I think that what the Wraith would be doing is actually fulfilling Beatrix's vision, which is to say that the Wraith will drop itself at the top of the wall as a rallying point for the Reavers that are coming up from the outside and those still trying to breach the phalanx on the inside.
Yep.
And I guess almost like maybe like dive bomb the top of the wall to just burst it open. So like
Okay.
almost like pile drive a wedge into the top of the wall.
Okay, let's say...
Alternatively, I could just take the top of the bell tower from the church and drop it onto the gate.
You know what? I think that is cool as shit. So let's say that's what happens.
Okay.
Is you use your power to just rip the bell tower off of your church.
Yep.
Throw it at the top of the eastern gate.
Yeah.
And it just explodes in a meteor shower of stones.
Yeah.
And at that point, the Star of the North contingent that was holding is smashed to bits. And as the smoke clears, the first Reavers from outside the gate are coming over this pile of rubble that used to be the gate and start pouring into the city. And let's say that that's what Gozar and his contingent see as they reach this area. Gozar, what do you do?
Plenty of rocks around. Gozar's gonna try and use some magic and wipe them out with boulders.
Are you directing the people following you to do anything, or are you taking the lead here?
I think I'm gonna take the lead and have them play backup. Like if some of the boulders miss.
Wow,
Good.
Gozar grew some nuts, huh?
He did, yeah.
His balls dropped
Yeah.
right on the way from the gate.
Yeah.
He just walked away from the king, knowing
Yeah.
the king was probably gonna try to kill him. Yeah, so I think he's also starting to realize who he is, I think, like with everything, and like he's spoken to the Unspeakable Force enough to start realizing how big his family is and how big he is. So I think he's gonna do his thing, and he's gonna direct. Watch for what happens, and when you see if any of my boulders miss, you go for them
Okay.
and go from there.
So, your people advance across the square in a sort of ragged line,
If the victim can cough.
with you in the center out front, lifting large stones and hurling them into groups of reavers that are attempting to cross this new hole in the wall. Let's see how that goes. Roll plus arcane.
Oh.
Oh
No. 6 plus 4 plus 3, 13.
Okay.
I love the dice.
Haven't failed it yet.
No.
So, yeah, you slowly press forward, but this steady hail of rock fire is obliterating groups of reavers into greasy smears. A few make it through, but the people that you've rallied manage to put them down while taking minimal losses.
Does the Wraith see Gozar?
Yes, there's no way that you could have missed each other at this point. So, as Gozar and his group are getting close to the breach and look like they're about to take control of it, what does the Wraith do?
So, are they like in almost like a clearing, like between the like main city buildings and the wall?
Yeah, let's say there's a square. The gate opens onto a square, so it's not like dense buildings.
Right.
There's an open area where this fight is taking place.
The while Gozar is like focused on getting all these boulders down, the Wraith is going to kind of like swoop in behind him and tap him on the shoulder with a skeletal finger,
Okay.
and then as soon as he turns around, it's going to just grab him by the throat and attempt
Okay.
to squeeze the life out of him.
Okay, so this sounds like... Let's just make this... Alright, do you want to... So, in your approach here, are you trying to take him by surprise and use that surprise to gain power over him? Or are you just using this as a dramatic way to open up a fight?
I mean, it would be surprised because like she's seen that he has arcane power and she's not gonna like fuck around with that.
Okay, let's go with a roll plus steady.
What
To
stats
get-
am I using now?
Beatrix's.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the simplest way to handle this.
Yeah.
Let's say whatever Beatrix is for steady.
Sure. Let's see here. I think it's just +0. Oh, it's +1. How about that? Okay.
Give me
that.
Give me the giant fuzzy dice here.
This might be Beatrix's first plus steady roll.
I think it is.
Oh!
Oh!
Cox,
Oh,
reroll it,
no.
reroll it.
Well, I mean, it's either a 3 or a 6.
Reroll it.
4?
An 11.
All right, yeah, so Gozar, you're taken by surprise as the Wraith appears behind you. You feel a tap on your shoulder. You turn, just barely noticing it, before you feel two massive skeletal hands crushing your neck.
Okay.
What do you do?
I'm going to transform into the golem.
Okay,
Which is large.
so do you have to make a roll to do that?
Wait, does he take any harm when he's
We'll
strangled?
figure that out.
Okay.
I have to do the fairest of them all. I turn into him, but the fairest of them all roll basically determines the aspect of it. Like if I smell like him, which I think in this point it's.
That's it. That's all you get. You just smell like them.
Move fairest of them all. On a 10 plus, I look, talk, and even smell like the other character for a brief period of time.
Quick
On a 7
question.
and 9, you can still change, but the MC chooses without telling me. Voice isn't right, smell isn't right, walk isn't right. Your perspective is off. You move as if you're still in your normal body, things like that.
So do you have any harm on you at this point?
I have 1 because of that move I took before.
Right. Okay. So that was a full success. It's unarmed, but it's a full success by surprise. And you're not fighting it directly. You're doing a different thing. I'm gonna say you take 2 more harm here.
2 more? Okay.
And then go ahead and make your roll.
Oh, that was some.
Uh-oh.
Oh, 3 plus. What is that?
Not a 3.
Even if it's a 3, it's a 6.
Yeah.
Either way, it's fail.
Cool.
Yeah.
So,
So much for that big toe. Huh?
yeah, the toe in your pocket here is burned up, and with the Wraith's hands around your throat, your body surges,
Okay.
like different parts of your body surge, like an arm grows really big at one point, a leg grows really big at one point, but the rest of you like can't get it all together, and as you feel your lungs starting to burn from not being able to breathe, the transformation just completely fails, and you are being choked to death.
Okay.
What do you do?
Could I get any voice out, or am I like really being squeezed?
You are being choked to death. You
Okay,
cannot
do
get
any
a
of the
voice.
men see this, or
Yes. Then
Okay.
they are terrified of the giant monster bird lady skeleton.
well, I've spoken to my ancestors before, so let's do it again. I'm gonna harness the unspeakable power.
All right. So what are you attempting to do with this?
I'm going to attempt, so I can change one small thing. Trying to think. So she has me by the neck, right?
Yep.
Would it be too big of an ass to shrink her hands, or make myself slippery, like wet, so she like loses a grip?
I like the idea of you suddenly becoming so slippery that she loses her grip on you. I think
Slick Willy.
that's a cool move. So plus arcane.
Jesus Christ, that's 6.
Take 2 more harm. So I think that means you have to take a debility or die.
Let's see. Kind of want to die because I already had a backup character that would be kind of fun.
Well, I don't know if they're gonna get to participate.
I mean,
in this
is this
little round.
the end of Gozar's story? Does it make
Well-
sense for it to end here?
Well, I'll tell you what the plan was. The plan was the second Gozar died in glory, like because of the glory for him, his ancestor would basically shoot down and immediately strike terror into everyone, and it would be the adept
Okay.
coming in to, finish what Gozar started.
I don't think we would do that specifically. We
Okay.
could do Gozer's spirit can manifest something to affect what's going on, but
What's the debilitation? That is
basically you take -1 on a stat forever to
Okay.
ignore the effects of damage. And you've done it on 1 already, I think, from your fight with the Blight Dryad.
Yes. And that was fierce. Which I will put another one in fierce.
You can only do it once for each stat.
Oh, one for each stat? Okay.
Yeah.
What's the difference between steady and sly? What moves are those?
So sly is like smart, seeing details that others might miss. Steady is like being sneaky or
Either would work because you're getting brain damage right now. So
Persuasive.
I'll do sly.
all right, yeah. So you're getting choked out here. and it's looking really bad, and we're gonna shift to.
How does that work with harm, though?
So when you take an ability, you're negating the harm that you would have received
From that, so that was like a 2, right? So
Yeah.
I guess
So
it
I'm
was-
still at 3 harm.
Yes.
Because 5 harm kills you, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm at 3.
Yeah. So basically, you can take the ability instead of taking the harm.
Okay.
And that's what would save your life.
Okay.
So Felix, you have sealed a series of small breaches in the southern wall, and things have calmed down. But the Reavers that already entered the city have slaughtered a bunch of civilians, burned some food storage, and are off causing havoc. You have runners say that the battle at the Eastern Gate is developing, and you also have a runner from Colonel Yu saying that the destruction at the northern wall is out of control, and his archers are doing their best, but they're losing. What do you do?
I can take the troops that I have and just like gather the rest of the troops and go to like send a small group to the Star of the North headquarters to like sound a signal, like a horn or something like that, to implement like the second step in case we were getting overwhelmed. If we're getting overwhelmed by the Reavers, to fall back to the center of the city and have all the forces draw back and try to pull civilians and everybody into the center and form kind of like a defensive circle around them.
Okay, so there is a fallback plan where you're going to abandon the outer fortifications and reestablish a new battle line at the center of the city.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I yeah, I don't say intercede, but because some of my Reavers are turned populace like sneak in with those civilians?
Absolutely.
Like do a sly roll or something like that?
So what do you want to accomplish with that?
I essentially want to insert saboteurs, people who will, look for weak spots in the fortifications, or find a way to like open one of the gates or something like that.
So let's say that you move some people into place, and when you have them do whatever it is that they're going to do, we roll for that then.
Sounds good. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are interviewing all the people, the civilians you're trying.
They are absolutely not capable of doing that. Like, we're not going to roll for that.
Yeah, exactly.
22 Likert survey out.
Have you felt particularly possessed at any point in the past week?
We're really concerned about goodness of fit within our second defensive line. So
How do you feel about giant skeletal bird monsters? For or against?
Oh, I'm very for them.
Ooh, I don't know about this one.
I'm going to have to flag your account. You're going to need to be interviewed by a specialist. All right, so you send this message, and a few minutes later, you hear a series of horn blasts, muted as they are by the chaos of the city, and magical and otherwise. But you see troops other than your own suddenly beginning to move to fall back to this other position. So when this new battle line forms, what's your goal? Is just to hold position as long as you can,
so a lot of the so it could be a couple of things really. Once we have a tight like defensive perimeter to assess and try to get information about what is the like the roads that where you closed back in, like what was it looking like out there, and then we could either And if the numbers are pouring, if the numbers of reavers are pouring in from all different directions, we're going to stay our ground. If it's looking more clear in some areas, I'm going to have the areas that, like, if the biggest point of like entry into the city is the east perimeter is going to stay put, and everybody else is going to push out and try to clear out those areas and then wrap around to the east
Okay.
to cover the east. But
So pull in,
yeah,
get intel,
Yeah.
and then hold against stronger threats, whereas other directions that are weaker, you're going to
clear that
counterattack.
Yes, and try to counter. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll put a pin in that and see how certain things develop,
Yeah.
and we'll handle that. Lord Torin.
Yes.
So you're lying on top of your sobbing wife and now dead daughter.
Yeah.
You're not feeling very good here. You're bleeding kind of a lot.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
What do you do? Oh, also your city's burning to the ground.
That's right. Thanks for the reminder.
Mm-hmm.
So Torin is just sort of, still in the mess of it. He's gonna snap at Gertrude to be quiet, but probably not gonna do anything.
No, she basically just keeps on wailing.
Yeah, he's gonna stand up the best he can and just sort of stare out the window. Smoke billowing in the distance, blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's a scene of
Yeah.
absolute destruction,
Yeah.
unlike
And,
anything you've imagined before. The north side of the city has lava coming in through the
Right.
walls.
He's sort of reflecting on his own, like, how the fuck did it come to this sort of thing?
Mm-hmm.
And
Can I make one small point as he's looking into the distant city?
Mhm.
Yeah.
The west side of the city
Mhm.
doesn't have any damage. No, nothing going on the west side. It seems oddly quiet.
Yeah.
that's weird.
Only so much chaos to go around.
So he's just sort of looks out the window and then stares back at his dead, bleeding out daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't even hear Gertrude anymore. Not that he listened anyway. And he's going to, turn that self-reflection into sort of an outward monologue and whisper into the unspeakable power.
Okay. What are you whispering?
And he doesn't really know he's doing it because he's not like, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of based on fear more than anything, like
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But he's just gonna be like, yeah, he's gonna. He doesn't want to die from poison, sort of thing, and just be like, how do I fix this, sort of thing. So yeah, that's what he's gonna do. So let's go. Oh no. That's a nothing.
You can die from poison.
Yeah, that's a 3.
It's better we weren't having another session. I would have 2
Oh no,
right
I'm
now.
sorry. That's a 4 minus 2. That's a 2.
Pusher's back. Nice leg.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So, I think in light of him being at 1 harm left, and poisoned, and inadvertently communing with the unspeakable power, as his world burns around him, Lord Torin quietly loses his mind. And he looks out the window again, and instead of seeing the city burning, he sees a vision of the city at absolute peace. Bells ringing in celebration, flower petals like flying through the air. Like, how the fuck did all these flower petals get here? But it's so beautiful and perfect that he can't help but step out of the bloody mess of the world that he finds himself in into this better world. And like, there's some stuff in the way. He shoves a desk aside, and he climbs up to the window and reaches out to this world before losing his balance and plummeting out the window of his study to the cobblestones below.
Sweet.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sorry for killing your character, but that was pretty cool.
No, it's nice. It's good.
All right. So, splorch aside, let's go back to the battle at the Eastern Gate. The Wraith has its skeletal fingers on Gozar's throat, and Gozar is gasping and dying. Gozar, what do you do?
I'm gonna try and get out again.
How?
I think at this point, I'm gonna try my magical attack. I'm gonna try and smash a boulder on her head, knowing that there is a chance it could hit me.
I was gonna say that's a risk.
Yeah,
That's danger close.
well, I could whisper the unspeakable power again, but I'm not feeling too great about that one. Even though both is an arcane roll. So I suppose which has less.
Well, whisper the
Yeah.
unspeakable power will give you guidance or
You mean
Not whisper. I'm
harness?
sorry, harness.
harness. Yeah, that could potentially get you out of it.
I suppose harness is less.
But it doesn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt the wraith.
Nervous.
If you want to actually hurt the wraith, you're going to have
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
something a little more dramatic.
Mm,
Do you want to try different dice?
no, I'm sticking with him.
Live by the giant fuzzy yellow
Yep.
dice, or die by the fuzzy
It's
yellow.
last session. I'm going out. Good. I think I want to go epic here.
Okay. Fucking awesome.
I want to, and I don't know how I do this, but I want to take a harm again
Okay.
to give myself never mind, I don't want to do that because I have a +3 in arcane. That was just bad luck with the rolls. I'm gonna look around as meekly as I can, and I'm gonna try and find the biggest boulder I can. And I am going to try my best to angle it in a certain direction where it's going to hit her and not me. And
This is a lot of coordination here for someone who's being choked to death.
So this is literally a last gasp. I will not let you take another debility here. Like, if you miss another roll, you just get choked to death and die.
Oh, come on. I was going to bite his head open.
Okay, you can do whatever his corpse you want.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
So if I fail, harness unspeakable power is the same as if I fail.
Mm-hmm. Don't fail. No matter what you
I'm
do,
thinking
don't
of mixed
fail.
success. If I mix success on harness unspeakable power, I may have a better shot than if I mix success on
So
smashing a boulder.
just remember, a mixed success is still a success.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if your intent is to live, then you'll succeed.
Or if your intent is to die gloriously.
I don't really want that. All right. Let's go to boulder because that's what Gozar would do.
So plus arcane?
Yep.
3.
Well, I'm already at 6, so as long as I roll at least a
Well, a 1.
1 and a 4, so that's 7, 10.
10. All right. So you pick up a boulder and it takes sort of an arcing path through the air and smashes the wraith aside. One of its skeletal hands is still like left wrapped around your throat, but it's not squeezing anymore. But the rest of the wraith has been suddenly moved.
I'm also going to yell to the remaining people, attack. Like, now's the time to get her.
Oh, so you attack the wraith.
Yes, I want the rest of the people that were standing there scared, just look, he got away, now's the time to go get him. Go get him. Or go get her.
Okay.
Are you plummeting? Are you like falling at this point?
No, they were on the ground.
Oh,
Yeah.
they were on the ground. Okay.
Yeah. The wraith dropped down to put a hand on him.
I thought she lifted him up again. Yeah.
That would be a cool scene. Honestly, if he had died there, she could have like lifted him up and.
Yeah, I had a whole cutscene idea.
You were really hoping for that miss, weren't you?
It really was.
Well, anyway, the wraith has been tossed aside like a rag doll by
I
a
was
giant
really
boulder.
looking forward to that 1998 CG sequence.
So you scream at your followers to attack the wraith, and there's an initial moment of hesitation, but they start rushing towards her. And so the wraith picks itself up off the ground after getting knocked away by this boulder and sees an avalanche of terrified yet determined humanity coming at it. What does the wraith do?
Flies up.
That is an option.
Yeah, no, yes,
Haha!
but no, I'm trying to think about like how to. So
So
the east wall has been breached at this point.
is the wraith handless on one side?
So,
That's a good
yes, temporarily. Let's
Okay.
say you take 2 harm from that, but the wraith gets a little more harm. The wraith doesn't get to take abilities, but the wraith has 6 harm
The wraith
total.
is the 6-fingered pan.
No.
Yeah.
How many fingers does the wraith have?
Well, he's saying the
the
harm
harm has-
meter.
Oh,
Come on,
yeah.
Nathan, let's go!
Shut up! I don't have any character sheets in front of me. Fuck you guys.
You're good. You're good.
So okay, so the east wall has been breached at this point, right?
Yes.
So what would happen is the wraith would take one last look at Gozar, lift its one remaining hand, and just do a little like kind of claw-like wave, and soar up into the air. And when like Gozar's like his vision like goes from like nearsighted to farsighted, he sees this wall of reavers charging at him,
Okay.
and the wraith will take off in the direction of the south wall.
Okay. So the wraith is leaving the battlefield here,
Yes.
and Gozar and his people see a whole lot of reavers incoming.
Yep.
Okay. So Gozar, what orders do you bark in the mere moments before this line of reavers reaches your people?
So I have a question. So, if there was a wall, would the wall hold them, or would they be able to take down the wall?
Well, the long answer is that all fortifications are nothing more than a delay without people defending them.
Okay.
But sort of a moot point. There's basically where there was a big gate in the way, now there is a hill of rubble that the reavers are cresting and coming down. So
If it's anything like season 6, he'll just stand his ground and survive until the end.
Right.
yeah, they'll just be fighting atop mountains of bodies.
That's right.
Which I mean,
endlessly enjoyable.
honestly, that one scene was badass as fuck.
Was. I would say go to Felix for a second because I need to think about this one.
Okay. Okay, so the camera zooms in on your stunned face as these reavers are approaching your line, and we cut to Felix.
So at this point, the perimeter is set.
Mm-hmm.
And what are the reports? You know, what's the intel feed? Like, what are the reports coming in?
So a runner just returned from the East Gate. There's a battle raging there between a smattering of troops and civilians, and they're fighting off reavers coming in through a breach in the East Gate. The Wraith was sighted there in the fight, but has suddenly moved towards the southern wall. So what do you do?
I'll have the. So how many guys do we have left? Like,
3.
Let's say
man, how many
nowhere near as many as you would like.
yeah. And we don't have. Are we like grossly outnumbered by the reavers that are in the city then, or?
Honestly, it's
It's
hard
just
to
probably-
say
yeah, I
what the
couldn't-
numbers are. You assume you're outnumbered, but like it's there's so much chaos in the city, you can't be certain.
Oh, and I probably denounced the authorities of the world.
So I will have the western flank and the southern flank go after the Wraith,
Okay.
and try to kill her. And then I'll say that if you go to the south and if she's left, like, return here. But if she's there, find her and kill her. And then the rest of us are gonna hold, kind of like angled towards the east, because that's where it sounds like the biggest
So
remainder of forces.
you're bracing your line to receive an attack when the forces that are currently at the eastern gate fail.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm having in fortifying to receive. I want to try to channel, like, have them block off streets and channel and direct it to be able to fight off the reavers, and like put like archers in, like, on walls on top of buildings, or in windows on top of buildings, and try to channel some of them to prevent us from getting overcome.
The forces you position to receive a charge from the east are basically working nonstop.
I'm going to tell the civilians to close off.
I was going to say, with the civilians, like, they're not just standing there in a line waiting. They're basically hauling furniture out of buildings to create funnels and choke points that they can use as a defense if the fighting comes to them. So they're using all the time available to them.
And at this point, I've sheathed the sword and I have judgment out, and I'm like walking along the like battlement walls and like barking orders and basically preparing people for.
Yeah, and
Army.
everybody's like exhausted and terrified, but they're as ready as they can be.
And I'll if I see people start to fail, I'm going to tell them, like, this is the last stand. If you don't get up, you'll die.
They hear you with a lot of fear in their eyes. All right. So you're waiting to hear back from how things go with the contingent you sent after the Wraith?
Yeah, and if you want me to use an honor move for,
Let's.
do you know who? Do either? I was thinking about saving an honor move for call on your faction when we're pretty much at the last scene, you know. So.
Yeah, let's handle like the morale of your troops.
Yeah.
With a roll when it's tested.
Okay.
All right. So the Wraith is speeding towards the southern wall. What does she do when she gets there?
Yeah.
So do I flying high enough to get a sense of like where the armies are coming out.
Yeah, just a broad sense.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do essentially is the wraith is going to use itself as bait to draw out as many soldiers as it can and direct the reavers that have already infiltrated the city to just ambush them.
Okay.
So I'm using itself as a spotter and bait.
Okay. So yeah, you fly high enough that you're visible, and you can see a contingent from the group of soldiers that's gathered at the center of the city, moving on your position. As they get closer, you start trying to maneuver some of your reavers that are within the city in position to ambush. So let's not roll plus any stats here. Just give me a straight roll, 2d6, to see how well this goes.
That is a 9.
All right, so the your reavers get into position and they ambush a number of the groups, and they inflict quite a few casualties. They take a bunch themselves, but that's to be expected. The town troops and the Star of the North, they're forced back to the city center. They manage to retreat in pretty good order, but they take quite a few losses in the process before reforming their lines back at the center of the city.
While and I assume that like more of their troops are like coming in to like help the withdrawal. Can I then make use of my little moles inside the civilian centers to try and open up one of the open up some sort of I don't know, maybe one of the quiet gates that Torin might have used to sneak out during one of his little trysts?
Is this a gate in the outer walls, or just to get inside the perimeter that those troops have set up?
Get inside the perimeter.
All right, so you want to create a breach there in their lines.
Yeah.
Would the Wraith know that, though?
Well, because she has
a literal bird's eye view
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
She can see where their battle line is forming,
Okay.
and she knows where their troops are,
Okay.
and where her people are too, or its people, whatever. Sort of a eldritch monster here at this point. Gender pronouns seem
Z, I think it goes by Z. I'm just joking.
yeah.
Not gonna touch that one. Come on. That's
I'm sorry, it's late, man.
Yeah, I'm joking.
So you've got this bird's eye view. Give me another straight roll to see how that works
Okay.
out.
7.
Okay, so another mixed success. So, if it went perfectly, what would have happened?
So basically, all of the troops that she had kind of ambushed are withdrawing, and they're like pulling back toward one side, like whatever side, if they're on like the south of the inner wall, right? And then meanwhile, while that's happening, all these other troops are coming in to help protect the withdrawal, right? Then someone on the north finds a little wrought iron gate that normally would have a couple troops there at least to warn everyone else, but they got pulled away. And so then it's just a matter of maybe one of them who's turned will begin to bite into the iron, and there will be a small smat that'll be acid smell, and a little smoke will start to rise as their mouth kind of disintegrates, but it pools into the iron, and it wears it down until it swings open.
And then
another
group of reavers comes in through the hole. Okay, so let's say that happens, but a scout sees this happen.
Yep.
And they call up reinforcements, and a fight erupts at this new hole in the the lines of the troops.
Mm-hmm.
So let's switch back to Felix real quick. You get a report that you're under attack on the northern perimeter, and that they're holding for now, but it's in doubt. The outcome is in doubt.
I'll I'll maintain a majority of the line, fortifying the way to the east, and then take myself and then like a handful of like good guys that I know.
All right.
So with the departure of Torin,
Yes.
I'd like to play the part of Burn
Absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome.
as the spur.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Yes.
So where's Burn in all of this?
Burn. So. What?
Burn?
Exactly. Right.
Thank you, Torin.
So, blah, blah, blah. You got a mess of greedy, hungry bastards on horses at your back, and a small, defenseless farmstead on the horizon. Your crew is waiting for you to tell them what to do. So he's sort of fallen into the role of this military, whatever the fuck is going on.
So he was stationed at an outpost
Right.
outside of the city.
Yeah.
Did he return to the city before all this?
He did.
Or
He was recalled back to the city to help
Okay.
defend the walls. And in the time between, everyone going on their mission into the Blight and whatever, he's developed a rapport with the troops beneath him, and he's actually turned into a pretty good leader.
Yeah.
Wow, big
Yeah.
change from your previous character.
Blood and everything. So as far as moves go, he gets leader of the pack. He's in charge of, and it says you're in charge of a militia, but in this case, he's in charge of his squadron.
Yeah, his small squadron of cavalry.
of whatever. He gets Forged of Steel +1 Fierce, more mountain than mortal, So he's. Which wall are you at? You're going down to?
He's
We're
going
going north. We're still towards the center of the city.
Which direction were you headed to though?
Towards the north.
Yeah. So I'll put him at the north.
All right,
North
so
gate.
you're responding. So you at the north gate because they've pulled back to a perimeter farther into the city.
So we'll say he was there, and he's
pulled back as well.
Pulled
Okay,
back,
yeah.
part of it.
So you are there and you link up with Felix as you're moving towards this breach that's developed. So what do you guys do? And Chris, I want to hear the voice.
Do you want to go ahead? I don't know. Or do you want to? So I'm probably not aware of Burn at this point.
No,
So we probably wouldn't act in concert or whatever.
So Bern, you're mounted, and your men are mounted, and you get this report of a breach. Do you just charge in? What do you do?
What are your orders, sir?
Oh, okay, all right. I'll just, I think, like riding in and charging them and flushing them out and trying to resecure that portion of the perimeter.
Okay. So, he.
Or if you want to ride around, because you're on horse, and then like me and the guys on foot will charge in, and then you can like ride around to try to cut them off. I think that would put you guys at greater risk though once the gates closed.
So just
Yeah, why don't you ride around? Sorry. It is late.
Everybody's got to do their
Well.
part.
Yeah.
All right, so Bern, you've got your orders. I assume you carry them out, or okay. So you're taking a flank. You're going to try and make a flank charge against this force that's coming into the breach. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So it takes a little time to swing out around into the streets that lead around this breach, but you get there, and there is a horde of reavers piling in to this breach in the line. And you ready your men and you charge forward?
Death.
Death! Death! So this would be, what size militia is this? I assume medium?
So
Venti, I think.
They say you're in charge of a militia of about 20 hard, violent, and armed bastards.
Awesome.
Is that with an ARD or ERD?
Killing Nazis.
So let's actually. So in the interest of time, because it is almost 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Let's skip the math
You're right.
and balance, and just give me a roll plus fierce to tell me how this charge goes.
Do I get his plus or?
Yes,
Oh, nice.
plus fierce.
Oh, it's the woodlands. That's a
7.
8, 9, 10.
All right, so your men form a tight wedge moving through the narrow street, and basically you just plow through this Reaver onslaught. And while
Well done, Burn.
some of them are headed further in, you've basically cut off their flow of troops into the breach. On the other side of the breach, Felix, you're leading your men forward. Give us a roll plus fierce to see how that goes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do it up. 7 plus fierce. And I don't know what my fierce is off the top
Probably
of
at
my head.
least 2, right?
Yeah, probably.
It's got to be.
It is 2. Yeah. 9.
Okay. So, so you're fighting with your group?
Yeah.
All right. So you win the battle pretty handily, but you take 2 harm in the process.
Okay. I'm up to 3.
But your men take minimal losses.
Okay.
And their morale is holding, and they try to fill that breach that was created. So let's switch back to Gozar real quick. You've got a mountain of Reavers bearing down on you. What do you do?
So with all my fails tonight, I've actually leveled up.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going to take the move from the Adept called Dream Quest.
Okay. Cool.
Yes, so this is probably going to be my biggest roll of this entire freaking campaign. And what it does is, when I want something at any cost, roll plus arcane. On a hit, you fall unconscious and communicate with the unspeakable power to in evocative dreams to get your desire. On a 10 plus, the power will provide you with a clear path to your goal. Take a +1 ongoing, acting on this information until you achieve your desire. On a 7 to 9, you have terrible nightmares about the obstacles that stand in your way. Take +1 forward in your next roll to get your desire. On a miss, your dreams are unclear, but you wake to find that the power has brought you what you wanted. However, the MC will pick one. Someone had to be forever altered for the worse to get it to you. Maybe someone you needed or cared about. What you want has been somehow twisted, perverted, or tainted. Or someone wants what you have received, maybe more than you do. So I'm taking that, and I'm going to roll that.
Okay, go for it.
That was a good move. Time well used. Matt, nice job. Yeah.
Oh no.
1
A 1.
and
Need a 6 here. Fuck.
Wow.
Well, even if I fail, I still succeed, but I'm going to be fucking screwed for the rest of my life.
Which might not be very long.
6!
okay. So that's
shit.
+3. So that's a full hit.
Yep.
Wow.
All right. So, what is your goal?
My goal, or what I want to figure out, is how to end this. I don't want a fairy tale ending here. I don't want the city to be miraculously, healed. I want to know how to get rid of the Reavers and how to get rid of that. Whatever it is.
So, the Wraith is the weak point here.
Okay.
If you can... do you agree with that, Josh?
So I was actually going to make...
Yeah, actually, I want your input here. So
So maybe this would be part of the vision would be because like I've been telepathically like fucking with Felix for like the past like 3 or 4 sessions. What I actually had in mind was like almost like an opportunity for like a null space negotiation. So like we'd be like essentially the Gozar and the Wraith would meet in this dream space.
Okay.
And I would be compelled to tell him how to save, whatever he's trying to save, like a group of people.
All right, so that happens then.
And then...
Gozar goes catatonic as this wave of Reavers approaches. The world falls away, and you find yourself in like this empty field of nothingness standing across from the Wraith. And you ask it, what?
I think to preface this, since this is the largest thing that Gozar has ever done, I think when he speaks, the thing you first hear is his voice is different now.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have the squeaky voice anymore. He actually has a normal voice.
Really, in the dream, he doesn't sound like the squeaky teenager.
He does not, and when he wakes up, he's not going to sound like it either.
Oh,
this
cool.
was his like biggest move. Like it took, in his mind, the most energy he's had, and I think it kind of like, I don't know, shook the voice out of him or whatever it is, but.
And his balls dropped.
Yeah, pretty much his ball dropped.
You foul demon!
What do you want to do? No.
Please no.
Got an accent too.
I would ask the Wraith, how do I get rid of you from this land and for you to never come back? I care about these people much more than that foul king that was here before. I want my people to succeed and thrive. Not just the kingdom, everyone in the kingdom. The peasants, the low people, everyone to prosper.
I'm trying. Do I want Beatrix's voice? Probably not, right? If you want the people to succeed and thrive, leave this place and go west, young man.
We have no place
The
to go.
people will not be harmed. Leave this corrupt cesspool behind.
What place west do you suggest?
Through the mountains, there is a pass under the range that will lead you.
My people are injured due to your wraiths.
You're welcome.
My people cannot make it that
You're
far.
welcome.
My people cannot make it that far.
You want them to succeed. This
Here it
is
is.
how they will live better than a few.
Alexa, turn on the basement lights.
Way to interrupt the scene, Chris.
Alexa interrupted the scene by turning off the lights.
Lights doesn't support that.
Shush, woman. Damn.
It's like a sledgehammer to dramatic tension right there.
Right.
So you're telling Gozar that his path to salvation, not just to like ending the battle, but to actually saving the city, is to
Saving the
lead,
people.
Yeah,
of
save the
city.
people
The
is
city's
to
done.
lead them west.
Yes.
So that's your answer there.
Yes.
Gozar, you're going to get +1 forward on any roll that works in that direction towards leading the people out of the city to the west.
So he would have one more question for the Wraith before the dream sequence ends.
All right, so it's already starting to go hazy and woo.
If I agree, what guarantees I have that you will not kill more of my men as I try to get them out? What if I said you can continue to damage the city to give me time to get my people out? without hurting any more of my citizens?
The guarantee is this. You can wake up from where you are and go west, and I will not attack you. Or you can wake up and be torn limb from limb by my horde of purifiers. That is my guarantee. Your people have no food, they have no clean water, they have no hope but that which you
Then how
might give them.
about this, Wraith? You back away. Our city is already destroyed.
You're welcome.
If you stay here, they will continue to fight. If you leave, I can convince them that this place is...
How about you wake up and we find out what happens?
You wake up. And let's say that there are like 3 Reavers this close to your face, holding back. Yeah?
I'm going to...
Dramatic tension's back.
I'm going to...
Alexa, turn off the lights.
I'm going to use my arcane magic to grab a bunch of stones, put a wall in between me and the Reavers. So I'm not going to attack the
Just
Reavers.
for just you, or for like all the people that are
All
with
the
you?
people in front of us. A wall,
yeah.
A wall that will hold up long enough to retreat.
Roll plus arcane. Well, in this case, it's going to be +4.
Yep, because I can... Oh, that's perfect timing. That's 5. That's a good start.
I mean, that's gonna
Yeah,
be
yeah.
guaranteed.
So I was doing the math. I'm like, yeah, the second die doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, you rip the cobblestones out of the ground and stack them up, creating a wall between the Reavers and your people. And I assume you order them to retreat to the west.
Yep, and I'm gonna go find the rest of the group that are fighting. I'm assuming Felix is leading them,
Yep.
since he seemed like the one that would do that. So I would head back to find Felix and kind of report, as weird as it sounds, kind of what happened. That he was able to speak with the Wraith in a dream, and we've got assurances that if we leave this land that's already destroyed, that we can rebuild our city and rebuild our population without worry of repercussion.
All right. What do you think about that, Felix?
I'm gonna tell him to take the civilians and go.
And you're going to hold off?
Yep.
Hold back?
He's not going to go for that.
You're going to try and convince him?
I am. I'm going to persuade with leverage. I'm going to tell him, listen, if we attack them, they will not.
All right.
They
Give
will
us
not leave
a roll. So that's plus Wiley.
And I'm going to break out an honor move here, because why not?
Sure.
Can I break out an honor defense then, or like?
An honor counterattack.
So
Yeah.
the way persuade with leverage works is you're, as a player character, when it's used on you, you're not compelled to do anything. Like the carrots, it's got carrots and sticks that are based on character
What's the
progression.
leverage? What's his leverage then? I guess.
Yeah. What is your leverage here?
That we're going to die. I saw what was on the East Gate?
Yep.
Where I was?
Yeah.
I saw what was on East Gate, and I saw what we have for an army left. We cannot win.
That's why I'm telling you to take the civilians and go.
But if you fight them, they will not honor the agreement, and they will come for us and kill us.
They made the agreement with you.
Huh?
They made the agreement with you.
They made the agreement with me that I would get our people out, and we would not have any more conflict. That we would go. They have cursed this land. They want the lands cursed, not us. So if we go west, they will not harm us. That means all of us. We have a chance to rebuild our city, rebuild everything with the people we have, including great guards like you who can lead us.
Let's see how that roll goes.
All right.
Yeah.
So I get a +1 for the honor move, right?
Yes.
Well, there's a 6.
Oh, two
Oh,
sixes!
nice.
Really convincing.
I think that was very convincing even without the roll. Good job. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll yell out commands for men to fall back, and that we'll move out to the west.
Okay. And we're going to follow that path that the Wraith had mentioned. That's where I would tell everyone where we're headed.
All right, so it's a long and arduous process pulling this many soldiers and civilians out of the city in an orderly fashion, and many don't come with you. Either they're bogged down in the fighting and killed, or they're too scared, so they huddle in their homes, protecting their families and their property until death comes for them. The Wraith, I believe, would not pursue.
That's correct.
Just hold position.
This would start to essentially disassemble the city piece by piece.
Yep. And so Gozar and Felix lead the civilians with protection from some able young cavalry officer. Lead them to the west, out of the city, through the farmlands, into the mountains, where they find a path that is remarkably not obstructed by the blight. And they're able to eventually cross the mountains out of Fallcrest Valley and away from the destruction that consumed their homeland. So real quick, what I want to do is fiasco style. I want to do an epilogue.
Yeah, nice.
I want each of you to give me a very short little vignette, 2 of them, about just some aspect of life after this. So, Josh, start us off with, show us something that scenes from Fallcrest's final moments.
So, as the Reavers, so something that I think we set up a couple sessions ago was that the sounds, like the hubbub of human activity, was what had drawn the blight toward it like a magnet.
To bring the silence down on that noise.
And so what the Reavers are doing, like once the civilians are gone, the Reavers begin to, just tear down these buildings. And like as the civilians are leaving, like they hear the crashing of mortar and wood, is falling to the ground, and the city is being like eaten alive. But what they notice is that the sounds begin to fade. And it's not because they're moving so quickly, right? There's a lot of wounded, and but the sounds are being muted as the city continues to disassemble, because the blight has completely overwhelmed what was this city. And what is left is this haunting emptiness, like this oppressive emptiness. So as the baggage train kind of makes its way into the mountains, like they hear no crickets, they hear no sounds of the carnage that they left behind. It's almost like muted them in a way as well, not permanently or physically or anything like that, but it just psychologically muting them. But then once they turn, into the mountain pass and they kind of get away from it, they start to hear the ambient sounds, water dripping and things like that, and they know that they're not being followed anymore.
Cool. Who wants to go next?
Well,
Go.
I think the 2 things that Gozar would want is, I think number 1 is he knew that Torin was very much against magic, and then obviously magic in that realm was very misunderstood. A lot of people feared it, a lot of people didn't understand it. I think one of the first things Gozar would want to do is try and teach people that magic isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's based on the user. If you have a bad person that has magic, then yes, bad things can happen. And I think with the second part of that, he would try and illustrate it with the fact that they head west. I don't think they knew what was west. I don't think they knew if they were just an abandoned town or if it was just an area away from the blight. And my thought, and whether it's right or wrong, would be that there isn't necessarily a city but there's enough of an area to make a city. And Gozar, with his magical powers, being able to move rocks and boulders and things like that, would help construct a city.
Like a Minas Tirith, like kind of built into the mountain sort of thing.
Yeah, like you know,
Nice.
kind of structure the city, like build a wall around to protect us and things like that, and just try and start making the town to show people that magic isn't the worst thing in the world. He doesn't necessarily have a need to rule. He wants people to know that House Thornberry is a respected house, that we are good magic, that we are protective magic, that we are out for the people, not for destruction or things like that. Whether he's in charge or not, he just wants the people to know that his magic is safe magic and that he would use it to protect people.
Gozar the Builder.
There we go.
Head of the new Thornberry Engineering Union.
All right, who's next?
I can take one. So this is Felix reestablishing the Star of the North headquarters and like a citadel or a temple for the Star of the North. And he is, it's not a coronation, but he's chosen as the new exarch in this new area.
So what makes this new establishment different from the old one? If you could pick one thing.
Do you mean like philosophically or visually or in any of all the above?
Your choice.
So the entrance into the, if it's being built into the, if this new city is going to be, which we have to think of an awesome name by the way.
Yeah.
If this new city is going to be built into the side of a mountain, then the entrance into the Citadel of the Star of the North is going to be the founding member, which was Aegis the Morning Star, and in order to enter the temple, you have to walk like below him, and so I think in a lot of the Felix was trying.
So like, there's a big statue of him, and you walk between his legs going
Yes.
in. Nice.
Yes. I'll save the other one for.
Do you have the junk hanging there, or is there?
Nice.
Are we talking a Renaissance sculpture?
If you take a peek under the leaf, I mean that's not
A
on you.
semi-puritanical, quasi-religious order. Is this junk hanging out? Probably not.
No.
There's like a curved draped robe that like just goes right between his legs.
It's armor, man.
Yeah.
Metal cod piece.
Metal taint guard.
Yeah. Gotta protect that taint.
It sounds so uncomfortable.
Yeah, right. Chafes my willy.
Great Robin types weapons.
All right, Chris.
Okay. So
Did Gertrude make it out?
I was actually curious.
that's my
about
question. Where is Gertrude?
That. I would have to think.
Where
she
is
was
Gertrude?
dead.
That's my
Not
decision.
necessarily. We didn't.
Yeah, that's your
the
decision.
Blight didn't make it
Carrying a
into the
baby
keep
Torin.
before
No,
the
look
deal
how
was struck.
devastated she was. Like, I don't know.
Well, that's Torin's fault then.
Yeah.
I have no
She
responsibility.
has other children though.
Oh, she's so many children. Probably not all with Torin, but that's fine.
Probably none of them were Torin.
Or
So,
Yes, Torin was a whore.
yeah, well, yeah, she makes it out, and I mean she's not the recluse that she was. She helps in sort of rebuilding what they had before, and she's not seen as a queen or anything like that, but more of just a leader.
Part of the
Sort of a
autonomous
community.
collective.
yeah.
And the same thing with Byrne. Byrne doesn't try to, establish his, sort of or stake his name in the politics of the new settlement, but he's respected enough that people listen to what he has to say. So he's sort of in a position where he's still, at a place in the military where, he has some pull, but he still has to take orders. and people respect him for that. So
More
Yeah.
importantly, what happened to Torin's body with the Reavers? How
Oh,
bad
it's-
was it?
well, I mean, just being like fleshed right there, I'm sure it's just torn apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Final death, unlike your other character there.
So,
Yeah.
does anybody else have any more?
I guess I'll drop this in just for, shits and giggles.
Yeah.
When the city is finally dismantled, and everything is in ruins, the Wraith approaches the foundation stone of the wall, that wall that was made with, the wisdom of the ancients, that
Yep.
modern science and what engineering could not replicate. She goes to the foundation stone, the very first stone that was laid in this wall. And now that it has been completely dismantled, it's loose. And she turns it over, a stone that had never been turned over in hundreds of years. And it's hollow. And inside, there is a glowing aura. And she reaches with her one remaining skeletal hand into it and clasps something. And she doesn't say anything, there's no noise or sound or anything like that. But there's a sense that what has finally been sought for has been found.
I was hoping you would do something like that. I wanted somebody to play with the fact that, the walls of the city were this ancient, unknowable thing. And so thank you for that. Read my mind.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Anybody else got another one?
That's good.
No, I don't think so.
What do you guys name your new city?
I don't know.
New Fall Crest.
Balkanrath.
Torrensburg.
Yeah, Torrensburg.
Torrance
God,
Hope.
no.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. There you go.
Newburgh. Newburgh.
You guys have used up all your creative juices.
Yeah.
It is 11:20. Yeah.
Yeah, it is
11:20.
late
Holy
as
shit.
fuck. Yeah.
Wow.
But hey,
We finished it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Did it. Great job, guys. That was fucking fantastic. I don't know how
That
you
was-
guys feel
that
about
was
it,
a
but
good
that
finish.
was
That
an
was a good
amazing end to that
That's
story.
Good. That was
Yeah.
good.
that was awesome.
Thank God for good rules. Jesus Christ.
Well, shit.
And some
Yeah, so
really
she-
dramatically bad rolls.
Yeah.
I'm actually glad I had the bad rolls that allowed me to level up.
Yeah, turn it into something good. Put you in some real peril there.
Right? Yeah. That was good. That was a good finish.
I like that dream because
Yeah, I like that. That was
I was
good.
trying to hint at it with Torin
Yeah, I was
that
wondering.
there was a way out.
Mhm.
Because I was taking advantage of the fact I kind of realized halfway through, it was like, well, I protect the north, I protect the east, and I protect the south. Left the west open. Why did I do that? And I was kind of thinking why I was thinking that. I was like, because that's an out. And that's a way to end this thing without me literally bringing in siege equipment.
I was waiting for people to fall back and for you to send in the last. I was waiting for it to be a trap. The west.
It's a trap.
Yeah.
No. And I think that was
I
kind
was
of
wondering too.
well, because
11
we never
seconds.
answered, right? Because Beatrix was looking into what is the blight really after. We never answered it. So
Glowing something.
We never even answered. We have still.
no, but
idea.
but my point
That's
was
okay
with
if
that.
it's in more.
My point was with that epilogue, that very final one, was that was it. That was what the blight was doing. They were searching for this piece of the foundation stone the whole time.
Yeah.
That's why they wanted Fallcrest and they didn't care about the people.
It's good.
All right, guys. Awesome. I'm tired as fuck.
What are we doing next?